Hi, France.
Hi, Jill.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So, next question on our list is, what's a marker word?
So the marker word is a word that I use with questions to choices of my dog. So when my dog makes a correct choice, I use a word to indicate that. And it's very important when I'm training because I don't want the dog to not have a really clear understanding of the thing that I would like them to repeat. So my marker word, the word I use is yes. I think it's important that you use a word that you usually use in a happy tone. It shouldn't be something like your dog may have a connection with something that they view as something not pleasurable. So it should be a word that they enjoy. I really prefer that we use yes. And yes is the word that at the precise moment my dog is giving me the behavior, I'm going to use that word to bridge the time between that behavior and the time they get fed. The reason is I want them to know the reason they're getting fed. I'm not just feeding them for no reason. I'm giving them the understanding that this is what I would like you to do and this is what I would like you to do again, and you're going to get paid or fed for it. So in this case, I'm just going to show you very simply I'm going to start with my marker word and say yes, and I'm just going to charge it up a little bit. Yes. So he's hearing the word yes. He's not doing anything yet, but I'm putting a little bit of battery life in there. Yes. I'm giving it a charge. Yes. So in this case,
You mentioned the word bridge earlier, and I'm just wondering, what is that?
Oh, a bridge is because we can't simultaneously feed the dog and have them do the behavior at exactly the same moment. I have to have that little space in time, which I call a bridge, that my dog understands what they're getting their reward for. So because a lot of the behaviors our dogs do with us all the time cannot be immediately fed at that precise moment, I need a bridge to have those two things happen. So for an example, if I'm using a bridge for my hand touch here, I'm going to show him my hand touch. I'm going to say my marker word, and then you're going to see the delay in the time in which he gets the food. So that's the bridge I'm talking about. So I'm going to show him my hand. Yes. And I'm going to give him the food. I'm going to show him my hand. Yes. There's that bridge in between. Yes. Yes. And again, because I'm not simultaneously doing this, yes, right? There's the bridge in between. Yes. This becomes now a behavior that, yes, is no longer being lured by the food, but an independent behavior. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important, yes, that your marker word comes at the exact moment that the dog performs the behavior. If you're a little delayed in the food, scientific studies have actually demonstrated that that's not nearly as important as if you are late with telling your dog the correct behavior. So if I held my hand out 10 times and I actually said yes when Thriller was doing something completely different than touching my hand, he would not understand that that was the behavior I want him to repeat. And that's why the marker word is so incredibly important for us to teach our dogs.
All right, so our first lesson is boundary beds. And anything can be a boundary, guys, absolutely anything. It doesn't have to be a bed. We always start with a bed because it's comfortable. It's a good place to start. The dogs usually want to be on it. The first step is just feeding the bed. So we want the dogs to, when they see the bed, is to just jump on it right away. You saw how happy Thriller was to get on that bed. So as soon as he sees that bed, he says, I want it, I want it. So important thing to note is where France is placing that food. Look, it's right on the bed, not to the dog's mouth, but right on the bed. It's like the bed is feeding Thriller. So she's continuing to reward him while he's on there. We're building some duration, and we're going to also implement our release word. So this is very important. Excellent. So next, once he gets on again, we're going to start feeding on the bed again. And your next step after you start feeding the bed and we're building duration is ping-ponging the timing of your treats. So sometimes the treat comes at 3 seconds, sometimes at 5, then back down to 2, then maybe up to 10. But you don't continuously feed the dog.
1, 2, 3,
So you can hear France counting
1, 2,
in between her seconds, and you can do that to help yourself. So she's not always increasing the amount of time in which
2, 3, 4,
the treats are coming. So doing it this way, your dog doesn't know when the treat is coming, and that is actually the easiest and quickest way to build duration instead of continuous increase in growth of time. So we're not doing 10, then 20, then 30, then 40. We're doing 5, then 4, then 10, then 3, then 15. So, and only work at whatever level your dog is at. If your dog can only handle 3 seconds, that's a start. We have to start somewhere.
And the other thing too, Jill, is I'm standing fairly upright. I don't want to do a lot of bending because that's cueing the dog that treats are coming, all right? So try to keep yourself fairly upright. Sometimes this is easier in a chair. And I don't have the treat coming out of my pocket and waiting a whole bunch of seconds for the treat to come out. I want it to come out quickly, and as Jill pointed out, at random intervals.
So the next thing that we would add in is a little bit of distraction. So more like France is going to start shuffling her feet, moving around a little bit. Start easy. So some dogs can't even handle 1 step away. So maybe you just need to reward a foot shuffle. Obviously Thriller has a little bit more experience. She's just showing some of the distraction training that you can do, and you can have fun with it. Be goofy. Laugh with your dog.
Break.
And there's our release word, break.